It began with a whistle, just a sound, a teenage boy's voice in the humid Mississippi air. But in 1955, that sound cost him his life. Before I continue, hit that subscribe button right now. Because this story is more than history, it's a reminder of how dangerous hate can be and why these truths can never be forgotten. This is the story of Emmett Till, a 14-year-old black boy whose brutal murder in Mississippi became one of the sparks that ignited the civil rights movement. Emmett Lewis Till was born in 1941 in Chicago. His friends called him Bobo. He was playful, full of jokes, and loved to make people laugh. In August of 1955, his mother, Mamie Till Mobley, sent him to Mississippi to visit relatives. She gave him a warning before he left. Be careful how you speak to white people down there. Things are different. But Emmett, being young, didn't fully understand the depth of those words. On August 24, 1955, Emmett walked into Bryant's Grocery and Meat Market in the small town of Money, Mississippi. Inside, Carolyn Bryant, a 21-year-old white woman, was working behind the counter. Accounts differ on what happened next. Some say Emmett whistled at her. Others say he made a playful remark. Whatever it was, in Jim Crow, Mississippi, that was enough to spark deadly consequences. Days later, in the early morning hours of August 28th, two white men, Roy Bryant, Carolyn's husband, and his half-brother J.W. Milam, showed up at the home of Emmett's great-uncle, Moses Wright. They dragged Emmett from his bed at gunpoint. Emmett begged for his life, but they shoved him into the back of a truck. They drove him to a barn where they beat him mercilessly. They pistol-whipped him until his face was unrecognizable, gouged out one of his eyes, and finally shot him in the head. Then they tied his body to a cotton gin fan with barbed wire and dumped him into the Tallahatchie River. When Emmett's body was found 3 days later, it was so mutilated that he could only be identified by a ring on his finger. Back in Chicago, Mamie Till Mobley made a decision that would change the world. She insisted on an open-casket funeral. Thousands of mourners filed past the body of her 14-year-old son, and Jet magazine published photos of Emmett's mutilated face. The images horrified America and forced people to confront the brutal reality of racism. Roy Bryant and J.W. Milam were arrested and put on trial. But in Mississippi in 1955, an all-white jury took less than an hour to acquit them. They laughed, shook hands with their lawyers, and walked free. Months later, protected by double jeopardy laws, Bryant and Milam admitted in a magazine interview that they had indeed killed Emmett Till. They described it in chilling detail, showing no remorse. But Emmett's story didn't end there. His murder became a rallying cry for the civil rights movement. Rosa Parks would later say she was thinking of Emmett Till when she refused to give up her seat on that bus in Montgomery. His name became a symbol of both pain and courage. In 2022, after decades of silence, an unserved arrest warrant for Carolyn Bryant was found in a courthouse basement. It reopened debate about accountability, though she lived the rest of her life free from charges. Emmett Till was only 14 years old. He never got to grow up, but his story forced America to face its darkest truths. If you believe stories like this should never be erased, subscribe right now. Because forgetting means letting hate win.